Hey guys, it's Saga from TechWorks, and today we are going to compare the cameras on the OnePlus 8 Pro with the ones on the iPhone 11 Pro Max and the Xiaomi Mi 10. If you guys look at the history of OnePlus, cameras on their smartphones have always failed to impress us. But I'm happy to say that this has changed with the OnePlus 8 Pro, and I'm excited to find out how it performs against the iPhone 11 Pro Max and the Xiaomi's Mi 10. On their own, these three phones can take amazing images, and if you take a lot of images with your smartphone, you will be happy by picking up any one of these. But many of you wanted to see how they perform against each other in various lighting conditions, so this video is all about that. We have over 100 image and video samples from each of these phones to compare in this video, so this is going to be a long one. To save us some time, instead of walking you through all the camera specs on these three phones, I will leave them on this slide and you can pause the video and go through them if you want. For more details about these cameras and for a closer look at their camera interface, I suggest you check out my individual camera reviews of these three phones. I will leave cards to them on the top right corner of the screen and also link them in the description section. If you end up liking any of these phones, links to purchase them will also be in the description section. Before we move on, I would just like to mention one thing which annoys me a lot, and that is the shutter lag on the OnePlus 8 Pro. It gets even worse when you are shooting 48 megapixel images. This might not be a big issue for everyone, but if you take as many images as I did for this camera comparison, those extra seconds for every shot do add up and get really annoying after a while. I have been talking about this lag since a couple of years, and I just hope OnePlus fixes it with a software update. Without wasting any more time, let us start with the daytime images from these three phones. These images look good from all three phones, but there are some differences. The first and obvious one is the way they capture colors. Color is a personal choice, so I'm not saying that one is doing a better job than the other two, but you can look at them and decide for yourself which one looks more natural to you. I would just like to point out that the colors from the iPhone are consistent throughout these images. That means it is showing a bit cooler color tones in all of its images, and the white balance is on point in almost all of its shots. But with the Mi 10 and the OnePlus 8 Pro, this changes with each image. White balance in their images is all over the place, and they capture cooler color tones in some of their images and warmer tones in others. This is a minor thing which can easily be fixed with an update, or you can even fix it in editing, but I just wanted to point it out if someone was wondering about it. Now when it comes to details, it should be no surprise that the 25 megapixel images from the Mi 10 capture more of them than the other two. We can see that as we zoom in on any of these images. Mi 10 also captures most contrast in its images, and this is more clearly visible when we click images indoors. OnePlus tried to capture brighter images in these situations, and in this particular shot, it ended up making the image appear a bit too flat. It just took away all the richness from the wood grain. I posted a few of these images on Twitter as a blind test, and 48% of the people liked the image from the iPhone 11 Pro Max, 31% liked the one from the Mi 10, and 21% of the respondents liked the one from the OnePlus 8 Pro. We see a similar trend in this image. Mi 10's image has two dark shadows, while the OnePlus 8 Pro tried to make the overall image look flat. iPhone 11 Pro showed the scene exactly how it was, but it is also the one capturing least amount of details since it has the smallest sensor among all three. In this set of images, one from the OnePlus just doesn't look as good as the other two. For some reason, it also took the longest to set the focus for this shot. 73% of the respondents liked the colors, details and overall feel of the image from the iPhone 11 Pro Max. 23% of the people liked the one from the Mi 10, and just 4% of the respondents went with the OnePlus 8 Pro. It is monsoon season in Pune, so most of the images that we see from this point forward are in diffuse lighting conditions. We know that almost every phone takes good images in bright sunlight, but in overcast conditions, the cameras and the image signal processor have to put in a bit more work to make these images look good. When I just looked at the images from the Mi 10, I really liked the way they looked. But when comparing its images with these phones, I think they are just a bit too dark. Coming to the way these phones capture colors, as I said earlier, which one you like will depend on your color preference. To my eyes, ones from the iPhone 11 Pro Max looks the most natural, and I feel its images show the actual color of the scene. This was one of the images that I posted on Twitter, and 68% of people chose the one from the iPhone 11 Pro Max. 18% people liked the one from the Mi 10, and 14% like the one from the OnePlus 8 Pro. There is a slight green tint in some of the images from the OnePlus 8 Pro. I thought OnePlus took care of this issue because I did not notice it in any of the images when I made its dedicated camera review. I did get a couple of software updates after that video went live. Maybe one of the updates has something to do with the green tint. For this image, again 52% people liked the image from the iPhone 11 Pro Max, 31% liked the one from the Mi 10, and OnePlus 8 Pro again came in last at just 17% of the respondents choosing it. One of the recent software updates on the OnePlus 8 Pro enabled the color filter camera for the Indian devices. They have made some changes to it and it can no longer see through some plastic objects. Now all you can do with it is take images like this. Now I have never used a color filter before, so I'm not sure of its purpose, but if you know how, why and when to use it, you should be happy that this sensor is now working. I had the HDR mode on all these phones set to auto, so they fire up this mode whenever the situation demands it, like in this shot. OnePlus 8 Pro is a bit too aggressive with the HDR mode at times, which makes its images look a bit overprocessed. Other than the slight shift in color on the OnePlus 8 Pro, this image from it and the Mi 10 look almost similar, while one from the iPhone 11 Pro seems to have brought up the most amount of details from the shadows, but it failed to preserve any of the details in the highlights. In some of these images, we can again see a slight green tint from the OnePlus 8 Pro. For this one, 52% of the people liked the one from the Mi 10. While I did not vote in any of these polls, but if I did, you can count my vote for the Mi 10 as well. And 24% of the people liked the one from the OnePlus 8 Pro and the iPhone 11 Pro Max. In this set of images, all three phones took a different approach. I like the image from the iPhone 11 Pro because it did not blow up the highlights and brought up enough details from the shadows. OnePlus 8 Pro also did a very good job in this one, but for some reason, the clouds appear much darker than they actually were in its image. And the one from the Mi 10 is the worst of the bunch. In this shot, all phones did well to bring up the shadows, so we see details in the ear cups of the headphones, and the highlights and the color of the sky in the background are also preserved very well. If we take a closer look, iPhone 11 Pro actually blew up the highlights on the white roof. For this set of images, although the image from the iPhone looks most natural, I like the one from the OnePlus 8 Pro because it is showing so much more details in the shadows. Now even though the Mi 10 and the OnePlus 8 Pro did a good job with the shadows in this image, they did not capture enough details from the highlights as the iPhone 11 Pro Max did. Shadows in the iPhone's image might be a bit dark, but there are much more details in its shot which you notice if you start editing it to make it look even better. All the images that we saw till now were 12 megapixel ones from the iPhone 11 Pro and the OnePlus 8 Pro and 25 megapixel ones from the Mi 10. If you want to capture more details, OnePlus 8 Pro and Mi 10 let you capture 48 and 108 megapixel images respectively. These images are 3 to 4 times larger in terms of file size, so they capture a lot more details when there is ample light. iPhone 11 Pro just has a 12 megapixel sensor, so there is no way to capture even high resolution images with it. The Mi 10 obviously captures most details in these shots. Next is the OnePlus 8 Pro, and the iPhone captures the least amount of details. But to see the difference in the detail levels, you will have to zoom in 4 to 5 times and compare these images side by side. As I said before, these high resolution images are huge in terms of file size, and the dynamic range and the noise reduction in these images is not as good. So for most of your images, I suggest you stick with the default 12 and 25 megapixel modes on the OnePlus 8 Pro and the Mi 10 respectively. All of them get a wide lens which lets you capture so much more of the scene compared to the primary lens. The specifications say that the Mi 10 has a 12mm lens, iPhone gets a 13mm one, and the OnePlus 8 Pro gets a 14mm lens on its ultra-wide camera. But when we look at the images, iPhone 11 Pro captures the widest field of view, followed by the Mi 10 and then the OnePlus 8 Pro. We can also see a clear shift in color and white balance between the wide and normal images from the Mi 10 and the OnePlus 8 Pro, whereas the images from the iPhone show mostly similar colors. iPhone 11 Pro gets a 2x telephoto lens, OnePlus 8 Pro gets a 3x hybrid zoom lens, but the Mi 10 just digitally zooms in when capturing images in the 2x mode. I think 2x is the right focal length for a telephoto lens. Images from the iPhone 11 Pro and OnePlus 8 Pro look detailed and crisp, but since the Mi 10 is just digitally zooming in on these images, its images have a bit more noise and they are a bit less sharp than the other two. The wide cameras on these phones don't capture as sharp images as the primary cameras because the lens optics, sensor and the aperture on these cameras are not that great. We also see some distortion towards the edges of these images. Despite of all this, it is still nice to have a wide lens on your phone as it lets you capture a different perspective of the scene. Here are how the 3x digitally zoomed images from the iPhone 11 Pro and Mi 10 look against the 3x hybrid zoom images from the OnePlus 8 Pro. OnePlus's images are much sharper. You can keep on digitally zooming in, and this is how the 10x digitally zoomed image look from all three phones. Ones from the iPhone 11 and OnePlus 8 Pro still look usable. OnePlus 8 Pro lets you zoom even further and capture 30x digitally zoomed images. If I am being honest, if you take 10 shots at this range, only 1 or 2 of them might look somewhat okay, while the other ones just look trash. Here is a quick focusing test before we move on to the close-up shots. As you can see, all three are quick at switching the focus from a far to near object and then back again. The switch in focus is a bit sudden and abrupt from the Mi 10, while it is very smooth on the iPhone 11 Pro and the OnePlus 8 Pro. Although the OnePlus 8 Pro did not have any issues in the focusing test, sometimes it fails to set the focus on a nearby object. Now the close-up shots look very good from all three phones. Subjects closest to the camera or the ones that you tap on are in perfect sharp focus, and the background gets a very nice optical blur. Since the sensors on the Mi 10 and the OnePlus 8 Pro are much larger than the one on the iPhone 11 Pro, the background in their close-up shots is blurred out a lot more. Again, since the sensor is so large on the Mi 10 and the OnePlus 8 Pro's primary cameras, if you are too close to the subject, the plane of focus is too narrow and you see some weird distortion towards the edges of your main subject like this. Very few people like it, but most are just annoyed by this. For this image, 57% of the people liked the one from the iPhone 11 Pro Max. 37% of the people went with the one from the Mi 10, while only 7% of the respondents went with the one from the OnePlus 8 Pro. Now for this close-up shot, 53% of the people again preferred the one from the iPhone 11 Pro Max. 40% liked the one from the Mi 10, and only 8% went with the one from the OnePlus 8 Pro. Most people when looking at these close-up shots are choosing the images from the iPhone because it is keeping the whole subject in focus, and even the colors in its images look more natural. Now the Mi 10 and OnePlus 8 Pro can take macro shots like this, which the iPhone 11 Pro can't. The iPhone just won't set the focus on the subject if I move any closer. Since the OnePlus 8 Pro is using its 48 megapixel wide camera for these shots, these images look much more detailed and better from it. Mi 10 just gets a 2 megapixel macro camera, so its images don't look that good, and they also have a lot of noise in them. If any smartphone manufacturer is watching this video, use the higher resolution wide camera for the macro shots like OnePlus did. You will need to add one less camera, so you can put that money to use by adding a better sensor and optics for the wide camera. Coming to the portrait shots. I shoot most of my shots in this mode, so any phone's portrait mode performance is very important to me. From the first look, all three seem to be doing a good job. But if we spend some more time on this shot, you will notice that the Mi 10 completely blew up the highlights in the background, and the iPhone and the OnePlus did not do a very good job of detecting the edges. This shot is much better from all three, but I think the iPhone 11 Pro has captured the most natural looking colors of the skin tone. The background in its portrait shots is blurred out a bit too much, but that can easily be fixed by lowering the f-stop while clicking the picture or even in editing. Again in this shot, Mi 10 completely blew up the highlights, but it did well with the edge detection. The other two did a better job with the dynamic range, but I prefer the portrait shots from the iPhone 11 Pro since it looks more natural to me. The OnePlus 8 Pro manipulated the shadows on the face to a point where to my eyes it just looks overprocessed. OnePlus is doing the same in this shot. Edge detection is good from all three, but I think the Mi 10 is adding a bit too much saturation for my taste. So my pick is again the iPhone 11 Pro Max. You can take zoomed in portraits with the OnePlus and the iPhone. The 3x portraits from the OnePlus are a bit too soft, so again I prefer the ones from the iPhone 11 Pro Max. This was a difficult shot because it was a bit dark all around and there was just a tiny ray of light illuminating the face. Mi 10 just added too much contrast in this shot. OnePlus 8 Pro again did that weird overprocessing thing with the face, and while there seems to be a hard line separating the face from the background in the image from the iPhone 11 Pro Max, its image still looks the best to me. Now I am consistently picking the portraits from the iPhone 11, but that doesn't mean the ones from the OnePlus 8 Pro and the Mi 10 are not good. They look really good on their own, and if you prefer the way their portraits look, you can definitely go with them. All three phones are getting the basics of the portrait mode right, so you can just choose the one that looks most natural to you. For portraits of things, all seems to have done a good job with this image. Just like portraits of people, I like taking portraits of objects too, and it is great to see all of them doing a good job with it. That is, unless you are trying to take portraits of few things like this, which is when the edge detection on the iPhone 11 Pro Max fails miserably. As good as its portraits of humans are, Apple still hasn't managed to get the portraits of objects right. Mi 10 and the OnePlus 8 Pro are doing a great job with the edge detection, but the colors and contrast still look good in the images from the iPhone 11 Pro. Now I posted this shot on Twitter, and 50% of the people liked the one from the Mi 10, 32% of the votes went to the iPhone, and 18% of the people went with the one from the OnePlus 8 Pro. Leaving the high contrast aside, I prefer the portrait shots of objects from the Mi 10. Edge detection is near perfect in its shots, and the subject is sharp and detailed. Moving on to the images shot in indoor, lower and artificial lighting conditions. Now these are all flagship smartphones, so their low light performance is really good. We see some difference in these images. Ones from the Mi 10 and the OnePlus 8 Pro messed up the white balance and tried to cool this shot down, while the iPhone captured the actual color of the scene. Actually, all of the images are looking good, but I like my images to show the actual color of the scene, so I like the one from the iPhone 11 Pro. As we move to even lower lighting conditions, iPhone captured the brightest image, but as we zoom in, we see more noise in its image, and the Mi 10 is the one actually capturing most details. In this shot, images from the OnePlus and iPhone are brighter, but again, Mi 10 captured most details, and in this particular shot, it also captured the colors as they actually were. iPhone is surprisingly capturing brighter images in lower lighting conditions, which I did not expect. And if you don't zoom in, I prefer its images over the other two. But if you do zoom in, Mi 10 is definitely capturing the most details. I did not expect the iPhone to be better than the OnePlus 8 Pro in lower light. As we zoom in, you can see the background is completely dark in the image from the OnePlus 8 Pro, while the iPhone and the Mi 10 have captured some light there as well. In this shot, look at the markings and the cracks on the floor. There is more noise in the iPhone's image, but it also captures most details here, while the Mi 10 ended up capturing the least details for some reason. All of these are handheld shots without the night mode. While clicking images indoors, Mi 10 and the OnePlus 8 Pro are doing much better than the iPhone, as you can see in this shot. But when the night mode is turned on, iPhone is the one seems to be capturing the sharpest shot. In this shot, Mi 10 and the OnePlus 8 Pro did much better than the iPhone, both with and without the night mode turned on. So the indoor low light performance doesn't seem to be very consistent from either of these phones. It was extremely windy outside, so ignore the blurry trees in this shot. Just look at the buildings and the sky. iPhone and Mi 10 captured more light and details than the OnePlus 8 Pro. But with the night mode turned on, OnePlus comes back into competition. In this shot with the night mode, images from the OnePlus 8 Pro and iPhone 11 Pro look almost identical, but the one from the Mi 10 looks so much brighter and better. Remember I said they are not very consistent with their low light performance? Just look at this set of images. One from the iPhone 11 Pro is looking much better than the other two with the night mode turned on. Now again in this set of images, one from the iPhone 11 Pro Max is much brighter than the other two. If we zoom in, we see all three have captured a lot of noise, but since the sensor on the iPhone is the smallest one, it also captures the least amount of details. That being said, if you look at these images without zooming in, I really like the colors in the images from the iPhone 11 Pro Max. Yes, it is a very costly phone, but it is also the oldest of the three, and the Mi 10 and the OnePlus 8 Pro had over 6 months to try and beat the iPhone 11 Pro's camera performance, but they still managed to come in just behind it. That brings us to the front-facing cameras. Mi 10 has the higher megapixel sensor and it shows in its selfies. In this image, iPhone did better with the dynamic range and managed the highlights on the wall outside the window in a better way. For some reason, OnePlus 8 Pro and the Mi 10 add a bit of skin smoothing even when I have turned the beauty mode off. Some people might like that effect, but I am not a big fan of it. Mi 10 captures more details, but skin tones in its selfies look totally out of place. All three are capturing different colors, and the Mi 10 has a green tint in some of its selfies. In this image, I like the skin tone from the iPhone, but the image from the OnePlus 8 Pro isn't too bad either. Other than the extra bit of contrast in Mi 10's selfies, there isn't a lot that separates these three. Just pick the one that looks best to you and you are set. iPhone 11 Pro Max, however, has the widest field of view when you hit the arrows just above the shutter button. So if you want to get more of your friends in the shot, get the iPhone 11 Pro Max. For the portrait selfies, as always, iPhone can't keep the hair and ear in focus. This is actually how a real DSLR would take the shot. It just keeps the eyes in focus and applies a bit of blur to the rest of the image. But we don't expect these results from the selfie cameras of our smartphone. We just expect these cameras to keep the complete face in focus. In most of its portrait selfies, iPhone even can't keep two faces in focus in one portrait shot. So as good as the colors and skin tone look in its portrait selfies, here I think I prefer the ones from the OnePlus 8 Pro. Here's a video from the front-facing camera of the Mi 10, iPhone 11 Pro Max and the OnePlus 8 Pro. You can see how all these phones are handling the overall colors of the scene, exposure and stabilization when I'm walking around with them. You can also let me know in the comments which one of these is picking my voice the best. All three can shoot 4K videos at 60 FPS. The video from the iPhone 11 Pro Max is incredibly stable and looks the best. Then is the one from the OnePlus 8 Pro, and the one from the Mi 10 is the least stable of all. 4K videos from the Mi 10 are also extremely saturated. I don't like how they look, but maybe some of you prefer the look and that is fine. Out of these three, iPhone is the best at handling the dynamic range while shooting videos. 1080p videos are also extremely stable from all three phones. There are a few dropped frames from the OnePlus 8 Pro here and there, but you won't notice it every time. Colors also look good from all of them, but my choice is the iPhone 11 Pro Max for shooting all of my videos. If you need to take 8K videos, Mi 10 is the only one which can do that. Other two don't even have that option. Colors are again extremely saturated, but the videos look super crispy. On the Mi 10, you can take videos like this where your subject is in focus and everything else around them is blurred out. This is done by software, so you can do this with any of the cameras, the main one, the wide one and even the selfie camera. For slow motion, iPhone and the OnePlus can take 240 FPS videos at 1080p resolution, but the slow motion videos on the Mi 10 are capped at 120 FPS. OnePlus 8 Pro can also shoot 480 FPS videos at 720p resolution. I won't drop the resolution that low, but if you ever need to, you should know that you have the option. Also make sure to shoot these videos in plenty of light, or else there will be a lot of noise or grain in them. So we have seen over 100 image and video samples from these three phones, and along the way, I told you guys what I think about each of them. As good as the cameras on the OnePlus 8 Pro are, they still have a long way to go before we can actually rate it over the other flagship smartphones. Out of the 9 images that I shared on Twitter, people chose the one from the iPhone to be the best for 6 of them, and remaining 3 went to the Mi 10. In all of the polls, images from the OnePlus 8 Pro constantly got the least number of votes. Now to keep this test unbiased, it was a blind test to begin with, and no one even knew which phones these images were taken with. So without reading too much into it, from the first look, most people like the images from the iPhone 11 Pro Max, and that is my pick as well. Out of these three, I will pick the iPhone 11 Pro Max for all of my images and videos. That is unless I need to shoot 8K videos, because then I will have no other option than to do it with the Mi 10. That being said, these phones are best of the best, and if you look at their images alone, all of them look really good. So just pick the one which looks the best to you and try and be happy with it. If you are still undecided, or if you don't agree with my analysis of these images, you can go back to the start of the images, mute the video, watch it in the highest resolution that your device supports, pause on each image if you want, and make your own decision that way. And after that, definitely let me know in the comments images from which phone do you like the most. If you are planning on getting any one of these phones, I will really appreciate if you get them from the affiliate links in the description section. That is it for this video guys. Please hit the like button if this video helped you, and subscribe to the channel for more quality tech videos like this. You can also check out some of the other videos from this channel. This has been Sagar, and I'll catch you guys in the next video. Take care.